Huawei, proud sponsor of Techbusters.
Panasonic was and still is a household name. Now, for those of us that were partying in the 90s, who can forget those Technics turntables, the Technics hi-fi systems? I mean, Technics was the go-to turntable for DJs, the SLQ1200, the iconic. Well, they've been around, but they've never really left the country, but now they're relaunching in South Africa, more to the consumers, consumer-facing, and they are now back with a bang and bigger than ever before. Take a look. The Japanese company Panasonic have been around for almost 100 years. They were founded in 1918 in Osaka in Japan, and they've been quiet of late in South Africa. They've been around here for a while, but they kind of stopped distributing in this country. But we're finding out here at Emperor's Palace in Kempton Park that they are making a comeback. There's a relaunch going on here, and Panasonic, who are famous for TVs, in fact they're the fourth biggest television producer in the world, a company that has revenues of $64 billion, so they're not a small company. They're back in South Africa. They're launching televisions, they're launching fridges, headphones, a whole range of consumer electronics goods, as well as smartphones, which is interestingly enough. So let's find out more about what Panasonic has in line for South African consumers this year. Dave, why is Panasonic coming back?
Very good question. Panasonic's never been away, but we're increasing the range, we're reintroducing a lot of products, and we're having all our dealers here this evening to relaunch the product.
Tell us a bit about Panasonic. I mean, it's a fascinating company.
Yes, Panasonic was started by Mr. Matsushita, making lamps, making bicycles, and eventually got into electronic products. And he was very concerned about quality. And that's why it takes us longer to introduce new products onto the market. The laws changed in South Africa in 2011, so we conform to immunity standards. We have to make sure that our product is 100% compliant. In fact, other people that I know of don't comply.
Yes. So your product range is quite interesting. You're like really going big into the consumer sector. We know you've been in broadcasting for a while, and you mentioned dealing directly with dealers in the past. But there's quite an extensive consumer electronics range, including cell phones, I might add. Just run through the range that you're bringing in.
Well, the range that we've got here today isn't even in fact the full range. The venue is too small, so we have got a much bigger range of products. But naturally they are the audio-visual products all interlink with each other. So the TV can play, use a Blu-ray player, etc. And then naturally in terms of our beauty range, we've got a much bigger range due to the immunity standards. We will introduce more. So the B2B you mentioned, and then also Technics. I mean, Technics,
I grew up with Technics.
Technics had a very big following in South Africa and still has. So this is the sign of a big things to happen in the future.
So a big focus on televisions. I mean, every time I go to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, you know, Panasonic's all over the place. Panasonic's big. You've got some fantastic TVs, but the price is key. And you said something interesting about your competitors, you know, starting off at a higher price point, they're coming down, and you mentioned the consistency of price coming from Panasonic. What kind of consistency are we going to talk about?
Well, first of all, Panasonic focuses on the entry-level models for local production, and the 4K will be fully imported, so we pay the full duties, which add up to virtually 35%, but we can't leave the quality out. So the quality of those 4K TVs, they're interactive, they need to talk to other products. You can use your mobile phone on the TV, you can use your mobile phone as a remote, so we need the quality, and that's why we import those sets.
And in terms of local support, what kind of support will we expect for Panasonic products in South Africa?
Well, we started invoicing in October last year, and the support has been awesome. Naturally, one of the reasons why we've got this function is dealers want to see the product, and it's been difficult to show them the product. So tonight really is to show them what product is available, and we're expecting big things from tomorrow.